Hello everyone and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. Today we're going to be trying to do two things. One of them involves forming the formable nation of Scandinavia, and the other one involves getting the achievement Med Plutonium. For some of you this might come across as rather strange because these are kind of old achievements, old things that you can do, so why am I doing it now after By Blood alone? Well, with the amount of changes there's been, the actual strategies you use on, let's say, some of my older videos really don't even apply anymore. So while this is me going after an achievement I don't have, we're kind of doing it to explore how we'd have to go around it in the current patch. In addition, and this is purely speculative, the amount of nations in the game which don't have focus trees is getting ever closer to zero. And if I was to, throw my penny into the ocean and see where it lands, I would guess that Scandinavia has a very high chance of being the next country pack zone, basically because there's been some hints in some of the ends of the dev diaries, and I mean, hey, it is probably the most favoured region to go next. So, without further ado, the question is, can Sweden form Scandinavia and get Med Plutonium? Let's have a look. So, moving on to Sweden, let's see if we can actually manage to do this in one of the few generic focus trees left in the world. Maybe there's a few extra things we can make use of along the way. Train units, political effort, build mills, basic research, everything on infantry equipment, and 5 speed. I think we're good to go. These challenges were never too complicated, were they really? Pretty straightforward all in all. As political effort comes to a close, we can begin by getting our first advisor and start working towards the destruction of Sweden's stability for a civil war. Now with this comes one of the very finite changes, which are kind of some interesting tech. If you need to get your stability below 50% for a civil war, the new-ish Commandeer Civilian Trains decision will just lower your stability. It's supposed to be a debuff, but in this context it's working to our advantage. With Sven now racking up a wonderful 10.10% in terms of support, we can now begin preparing for the Civil War, expanding civil support, getting the stability down, and we're cooking with gas. Oh, and we better train up one horse. You've always got to have one horse ready to go. After clicking the button for the third time, we can now weigh up our other options. We're always going to need 50 PP just to ignite the Civil War, but more so, we also have, ironically, anti-fash raids, which while they seem counterintuitive to converting our country, they do give the base stability -10, so you can kind of take a hit to gain some leverage and get there faster, but you're going to need 100 PP regardless. Okay, sitting at 100 PP, I think we're good to go. Now we just need to delete the army that we have kind of collected here, that we have really no use for anymore. We're going to do some raids, and on the very same day, ignite the Civil War. With that, it's really good to see that the old traditional Civil War techniques still exist in the game. You just need to give it a day and instantly move down from Karlskrona to Malmö. And after that short, quick trip, the work is done. Oh, and I think Sweden has a new flag. I do not remember the flag looking anything like that. So there you go, something else that's changed. Wow, such new content for the Sverige. So previously, in my former videos on the topic of trying to form Scandinavia, and to a wider extent the Nordic Union, what I would originally do is save up PP to go after Norway, then immediately after go after Denmark. So far as I can tell, I'm not sure that strategy even works anymore. The way that your tension generates in the current version of the game is it actually ticks up over time instead of just being a flat base rate that sticks where it is. So I'm actually concerned that the ticking rate is worse now than what it used to be. So in order to get around that, we also have world tension when we declare a war, by the way. We should probably have both wars begin at the same time. That means we're going to need to be even stronger than we were when we did this years ago. Small note, but make sure you bring your navy into the Danish belts. This is where they're going to have the most utility when the time comes. So just a small thing, but remember to do it. And we're saving up for, I think, roughly 130 political power, maybe 120. The exact dates don't matter too much because both wars begin at the same time, so there's no timeline we have to stick to. When the war begins, my plan will be to go after Norway first and then go after Denmark. So in order to stall the Danish, because they're not completely incompetent, I'm just going to build a few extra forts here just before the war begins, so hopefully they won't just charge in and attack me. The NSAP debates democracy. Oh, this is because we've got over 60% democracy. Don't worry about this. This will blow over. But it is funny that we have the option to just go straight back to democracy if we want. Actually, taking into consideration now, we're going to need more than 130 political power. We're going to need something in the regions of almost 200. Goodness, this is going to stack up to be a lot. Moving down my focus tree, we finally reached nationalism focus. And the next one is militarism, so we can actually solve this manpower crisis. Oh, super small tip, very minor, weird thing. If you have no manpower and you find that your dockyards aren't really doing anything in this context, there's no production efficiency when it comes to producing things. So just leave one single dockyard on there and then queue up the next thing that you want to produce. You can stick this on one, and effectively this production is not being wasted anymore just because you can't actually deploy a submarine. It's a small thing, but it's a useful little tip. Fly, my pretties. Go to the border of Norway. Fly. Okay, so hopefully we're not too late on our justifications, but around 193 is I think where we need to be. It's not the end of the world if it isn't. So what we need to do is justify on Denmark. Job done. Justify on Norway. Job done. Then cancel our justification on Denmark and re-justify on Denmark. Now, these are both, I think, 3-4%. So in total, you're only going to be between 6 and 8%. Below 10%, which means they should not be guaranteed. Watch me eat my own words, but I am damn near certain that they will not be guaranteed. So hopefully this should be Scandinavia 100% secured, assuming I win the war. We also get the wonders of seeing the globe just ever so slightly tick up every so often now. I do think it's a positive change, the thing they've done with making it so that justifications cause world tension to sort of slowly tick up, but it certainly throws a cog in the works of basically a lot of my old videos. Okay, less than 100 days away, basically just setting up all the lines. The fortifications in place, 5 lads defending there, the navy's in place, and the blitzkrieg of Norway is looking good. I'm just glad we have supply near Narvik, because Narvik is always the pain. You just have to get Narvik. Uh-oh, that's a couple of justifications on our plate. Okay, that's good. So world tension is above 25%. So for any naysayers out there, just to clarify, yes, even unpausing the game, no guarantees on either of them. It doesn't matter, because we have not generated more than 10%. We have to declare both wars at exactly the same time, because the second we declare it, we go straight to 10% on the dot, and then they will guarantee. Okay, we just have to rush Norway down like nobody's business. Okay, I think we made a decent investment on these forts here. That is a pretty difficult thing for them to push. Love to see it. Okay, the siege of Narvik is going just how I wanted it to go. Perfecto. It seems like the west is always undefended, which is good, and we're actually managing the middle encirclements not too poorly either. In the interest of maintaining some supply up here, I think I'm going to try and steal this port by building a railway. Hopefully I can get away with it. Oh! I think we just took Narvik on the side of my screen. I just missed looking at it as I was closing this. But there we go, jolly good. So, there's no reason not to take everything. You do also have the option to take their navy if you want. Now, I think in any other circumstance, I would take their navy. But for this particular playthrough, I have no use for it. And when you take it, you're going to get an extra % of world tension. And I think I could do without that. So for that reason, I'm going to leave it. So hopefully the old naval invasion strats still work. So for those who don't know, the best thing you can do is stick one naval invasion in Oslo and try to get some kind of heading up here. These 3 are generally perfect. With the remaining 7 that you have access to, you need to try, and this is try, and do a very weird invasion, which looks like that, and then try and get the middle tiles just to connect everything up, so you've got some really good coverage with as much as you can possibly get hold of. Once that's done, and all the naval invasions are set up in 50 days, we'll set our fleet out, and hopefully we win this. This is of course why earlier we set our fleet to be here in the first place, in preparation knowing that It's in these Danish belts where the true drama was going to begin. Ah, now this is a decent change. Italy sends military support. And who said the updates make things harder? That does look like green naval invasion support, so hopefully I might bring this down to a casual 4-speed. They should all launch, which they do, and this will be an easy take of Denmark. Hopefully. Okay, we did get one landing. That's a good start. That's a good start. Oh, some very good landings down here. That's what we like to see. So hopefully these lads can take out this Odense. We only need one port. One port is all I need. Oh, they're definitely struggling on this tile. They couldn't have held them all. And actually, I think we're getting the northern port, maybe. Okay, and with that, we now have a port. Super duper important. And the baseline of effectively winning this war. I think at this point, now that we have a port, I don't see how we lose. All the front lines are now connecting, which means they're all going to start getting supply. And Denmark simply does not have the manpower to be putting up a fight. Oh. Wait. What? To live in interesting times. Do we take the navy? I mean, it is 0.3. That's not a lot, is it? Nope, I'm sticking by my values. Sink it. Okay, and with that, I think we can now click the wonderful button, Restore the Kalmar Union. Success. This, of course, does not get us the Med Plutonium achievement. This is just a means to an end. The way to get it, well, let's go take a look. So, Med Plutonium. Nuke Denmark as Sweden. Huh. Well, that seems counterintuitive considering that we just conquered Denmark. This is intentional, in case it wasn't obvious. So what typically happens is that Germany is going to invade Denmark, and then to drop a nuke on Denmark, you have to drop a nuke on Germany. And that's just a nightmare we don't want to deal with. So to kind of get around that, what we can do is ask to, hopefully, get a non-aggression pact of some kind with old Germany here. And with that, hopefully, they won't come and attack us. So later on, we can release Denmark and nuke them. For the record, I feel like in the real world that Germany would want me in their faction. I understand they have desires to take Denmark, but really? Do we really believe this? Oh, you've got to be joking me. Wait, I actually thought this would tick over in a positive direction. I'm basically going to continue playing this game under the presumption that Germany is not going to go to war with me, and if they are, I'm sure we can deal with it, right? It's going to be fine. Okay, so thanks to a little bit of manoeuvring, I came to a different conclusion. Using a little spy agent, we are actually able to wangle, through diplomatic pressure, a non-aggression pact. This should stave off the Germans just for a little bit, if nothing else. The good news is now that that nightmare is behind us, we can actually reconsider the notion of going after Finland. So Finland is the final sort of cog in our great Nordic Union, and in order to do it, we have to do a justification for 3% world tension. Now this could be 3.9%, basically 4, so it's best to wait until we get down to 6.1 or just flat out 6 and not risk getting any unwanted justifications and guarantees coming from it. It may be the coward's way of playing, but it's certain that you're not going to get in a war with the Allies. I'm sorry, am I crazy? Or did our personal threat go down? We were at 6%, and we're definitely justifying, because I see the little explosion happening each time, yet we're still at 5.5. Okay, so for those who are interested, I stuck on this guy on diplomatic pressure, and it says changing the tension requirements by 0.1 per day. So in what is potentially something I might be an idiot for not realizing, I put a diplomatic pressure operative on Finland, which says it's changing the tension requirements by 0.1% per day. I also added diplomatic training onto that. If you remember, I started this justification at 6%. It's actually gone down by 0.4. Am I to believe that with diplomatic pressure, you can actually get away with practically free justifications with no threat? Because if that's the case, that's like extremely powerful. It is definitely going up very slowly. We're at 5.7, but we were supposed to have generated like 4% threat. Atomic research has been begun, which means we're on our way to finish this achievement and finish this video. I'm just still gobsmacked about this diplomatic pressure thing. I think there are some exploits to be found here, you know? And with that, the justification for our land is complete, and considering I'm at 6.2% personal threat, I think that all of my old YouTube videos are suddenly even less relevant, because this could be a whole lot easier to do with tons of other nations. How did I not take advantage of this earlier? Just a casual D-Day in Turku. No problemo. This has been a pretty simple war. Huh. And I thought this was a simple war. And Finland has been taken. Good, good, good. And so with that, we can successfully say that we can proclaim Nordic unity. Goodness me, that was simpler than I thought it was going to be. It's a shame about the whole Soviet invasion imminently on my border thing, but I'm sure we can deal with that too, right? The unified North will stand strong. We just need to live long enough to release Denmark, justify on them, and drop a big nuke on them. Oh, they're demanding Karelia. Huh. I think under the circumstances, it's probably best to give it up. I don't really care too much, and I'm not ready for an insta-war. You know, I'd really like to join that Axis thing they've got going on over there. I just feel like I'd be a great member, you know, just personally. Hey, maybe it's the case that the Soviets just won't attack, right? They'll just go, hey, you know, they gave us Karelia. Okay, that was kind of them. We're not going to attack. Surely. They insta-attacked. Oh, they went straight in. Oh, they insta-attacked. Gonna see how long we can last. And as predicted, they are naval invading. I had thought as much might happen. Okay, they are most certainly, undoubtedly pushing this line. This is not good. Okay, we need to retreat. We definitely need to retreat. Retreat is big news today. The war situation is not developing entirely to the Nordic Empire's advantage. However, I do have some confidence in this push. It's core territory, it's core Swedish territory, and I feel like we've got a river line at our backs and better infrastructure. If this doesn't hold, I really don't know what will. Nuclear reactors on the way, the achievement is in sight, this is all I care about. Live long enough to nuke Denmark. Still unsure why I'm holding out in Helsinki, but I thought I could, so I did. Okay, the German Reich declared war on the Soviet Union. Surely, this has to give us some leeway now. Of course, they still don't want us in their faction, because, you know, why would they want something like that? Surely that's not a counter-offensive. Surely not. The Germans may not want them in our faction, but we can take advantage of a new front being opened. I think the fact that they're tanks as well is particularly harmful for the Soviets here. Unforge. Maybe that hold in Helsinki may be useful after all for a quick trip to Leningrad. Let's find out. In addition, I think we can also free up these lads and bring them down here. I don't think we're going to be naval invaded anytime soon. The Germans absolutely blitzing it to Moscow, cutting through them like butter. I think they were a little bit weakened on a northern front, so it really took the wind out of them. He who takes Leningrad may yet take the world. We got it. Good, 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 good. Moscow has fallen. Leningrad has fallen. 50% of the way there. Nukes are being built. Or at least the reactors are being researched. Well, well, well. Look who invites me to their faction. Why am I not surprised? I feel like they had their opportunity. I'm good now, thank you. Not much else to do now, but just wait for the Germans to finish, I guess. So, I guess I'll see you when it's finished. So, with 68 days left on the clock for nuclear reactor, and the Soviets somehow still surviving, we can now take nuclear effort, which gives us a 2-year ahead of time penalty reduction for nuclear technology. There's only two things you really want to get with this. If you're not going for nukes, you want to get an early atomic research. If you are going for nukes, you want to save it to the very end to get nuclear bombs in 1943. Maybe we end this at Archangel. Now wouldn't that be a twist? With nuclear effort finished and a new research slot available, okay, it's going to take a little over a year because we're still not quite ahead of the time in 1943, but generally speaking pretty good. Nuclear bombs. I also think D-Day just started, which is convenient considering I did not join the Axis. Oh wait, I didn't even look at Italy. It's just occurred to me I actually need to start building nuclear reactors, don't I? Kind of the important point of doing all of this, isn't it? Best not to forget to actually build them. Any day now. Huzzah, huzzah. Oh my goodness, we actually survived that thing. Okay, what can we get away with? Maybe something like this. So that was a peace conference. A very weird looking Russia, which is my puppet. Germany managed to snag this, and just when I tried to cut them off, they weirdly just jumped over and got the other bit. So I don't know how I feel about that. Luckily, there's basically nothing else that's going to happen now, so we should be managing okay, hopefully. Nuclear bombs. And with that, we actually start production immediately. 2 reactors got built in time, so we could have done better, but we tried our best. So hopefully in 180 days, oh even better, 120 days, we'll have our first bomb. Oh, now we get race for the bomb. I was wondering when this decision would come up. This would have been pretty useful all that time. Well, at least we have it now. To mark Christmas, we now can say we successfully have our first nuke, and we've also waited long enough so that we don't have too much personal threat that I do think we can get away with releasing Denmark and hopefully being able to nuke them. 125 days, and I think we have an achievement. Okay, justification complete. All we do now, we hit declare war, give us a few days of air superiority. Not enough air superiority. Now that's green air superiority. And then, let's go for Copenhagen and Aarhus. Med Plutonium. Achievement complete. And a wonderful explosion to boot. So, with that, I think we've done... Oh yes, we've definitely done the 2 main things we hope to achieve. We could form the Nordic Empire and Scandinavia. There is new tech involved, but it certainly works. And you can get the achievement still, nice and easy, no problemo. Maybe you'll consider getting the achievement before potentially a Scandinavian DLC comes out and potentially makes it much harder to do this. But with that being said, I'll say thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.